Yeah, I do have a lot of books that I didn't get to. Is it sad? Not really, because I read so many fantastic books this year, so I don't feel bad. It's just there's so many good books to read. You can hear Noah chewing on a plastic hanger in the background. This is his new teething toy of choice. Hi everyone, it's me, Jess. I hope everyone's having a really happy holiday. We have been having a pretty nice holiday in this house. We've been hanging out with the dogs. We've been doing some reading, not as much reading as I thought we were going to be doing, just because we've been doing a bit more socializing and watching a lot of movies this year. I don't know, tell me your favorite Christmas movie. We're going back through movies that we think are kind of off-label Christmas movies. Is that a way to think about it? Like we watched this movie that I'm not sure people will know called While You Were Sleeping, because it takes place at Christmas and it's not your typical Christmas movie, but it was really good. But we're not here to talk about Christmas movies. We're here to talk about books. This is an idea inspired by Mara at Books Like Whoa. So she made a TBR where she wrapped books for her TBR for 2023, and it inspired me to do the same thing. I'm gonna do that in this video. We're gonna wrap books for me to pull for my various TBRs over the year in 2023. And what I want to do is I'm gonna wrap books. I pulled all the books that were leftovers from TBRs that I had in 2022, so books that I didn't get to in 2022. So I almost always have had books on my TBRs for each month that I just didn't get to. I guess my eyes are bigger than my brain when it comes to reading. And so yeah, I have a lot of books here. I think I have like maybe 25 or 26. And yeah, so you're gonna wrap books with me. We're gonna wrap books together. I think I'll go through them. I'm gonna go through them by genre. So I have classics, nonfiction, and then mostly fiction. I won't go through the fiction genres. Oh yeah, I guess I can mystery. I think I only have like one science fiction. Definitely have no romance. So we'll go through them. I'll just give a brief word or two about the books, and yeah, then we'll wrap them together. I'm a little bit behind in my uploads because of the holidays. I admit I'm always behind in my uploads, but the holidays this year just have taken up more time. And yeah, so I'll be posting some other videos upcoming for the end of the year, things like my best of 2022 and my wrap up for the reindeer readathon, which I'm sorry everybody on Team Candy Cane, I am kind of failing my team a little bit. I'm not getting as much reading done as I thought I would. But anyway, all that aside, let's talk about the books that are going to be wrapped today. So in the first pile, I have two kind of mystery books that I didn't get to this year. And I did take out books that I didn't want to read. And one of these, I'm not sure if I really want to read it. So wrapping them and pulling them at random will maybe mean that I can avoid it. We'll see. I don't know, maybe I should just take it out. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And that is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. I had this on my TBR. I can't remember how far back. And then I didn't get to it. And then a couple of people reviewed it and they said it wasn't very good. And then I read the guest list and it was just okay. So now I have this book, and it was formerly on my TBR in 2022. And I'm still considering possibly reading it. So The Paris Apartment, it's just about, well, it's set in Paris in an old apartment building. Everyone's a neighbor, everyone's a suspect in this building. That's the setup. So there's that one. And then I do really want to read this. It's been since 2021 that I wanted to read this one, How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House by Cherie Jones. This was, I don't remember if it was longlisted or shortlisted for the Women's Prize in 2021. And it is another murder mystery. Well, not murder mystery. I think it's about a woman who maybe murders her husband. He's a petty criminal. I think he gets shot. And then the story revolves around who shot him. So I really do want to read that. So that should be Maybe I'll pull it. That would be fun. I don't know if anybody remembers the YouTube spin, but that was really fun. This kind of reminds me of that. So there are those two. And then I also had, at one point on my TBR, the Sympathizer, which I never got to, which is a Pulitzer Prize winning book about, I think he was a communist double agent, half French, half Vietnamese army captain who comes to America after the fall of Saigon. This sounds really, really interesting. So, you know, still want to read that one. Five Little Indians by Michelle Good, which I had really wanted to get to when I was reading the books that were on the Canada Reads competition this year. I read Scarborough. That takes place in the early part of the year. I read Scarborough and it was amazing, and I had also wanted to read Five Little Indians, but I didn't get a chance to read it. I think it's about the residential school system, so I think it might be a little bit of a difficult read, but I still really do want to read this one. There are a couple of Indigenous authors that I didn't get to this year, which I regret, that are in this pile. It's a debut novel as well. It says, Michelle Good opens a compassionate, devastating window into the human cost of colonialism. I'm sure it's fantastic. The White Tiger, this is a book that I've been curious about for some time, and it was on my TBR. It's been on my TBR since 2021. It rotated again into my TBRs in 2022 because one of my goals for 2022 was to read books that were on my TBRs from 2021 that I didn't get to. So that might be a goal of mine this year, although I haven't set up my goals for 2023 yet. That video will be coming soon. But this is a novel. Again, this is, I think, also a murder, maybe a bit of a murder mystery novel. It's about a man who is a complicated man, it says. Balram Halwai is a complicated man, servant, philosopher, entrepreneur, murderer, and it takes place over the course of 7 nights. He tells the story of how he became a success in life. This sounds fascinating, and it is the winner of the Man Booker Prize for 2008. I had to change my angle because the light keeps coming in and out. Another one that I didn't get to that was on my TBR in the early part of 2022 is Still Life. This is a World War II novel set in Florence. And it was on a lot of people's best of 2021 lists, and it was also recommended to me by a lot of friends, and I didn't get to it yet, so that is also going in the pile. So that's the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to wrap those, and then I'll come back and talk about a few more, wrap, talk about a few more, wrap. That'll be the rhythm of the video. So I hope everyone enjoys. So I'm gonna number these. Yeah, I'm putting numbers on these, and I'll pull them probably maybe one per. There's 25 of them, so I definitely need to try to read more than one per month. Otherwise, they're all going to get moved to 2024. So maybe I'll try to read 2 per month, but I don't know. I've been thinking about my 2023 reading goals, and I'm not sure how many books I'm going to be able to read per month. I'm looking at maybe more like 5 or 6. Anyway, that's for another video. But here is another grouping of books that we're going to wrap. Another one that I really wanted to get to that I didn't is this one, Olga Dies Dreaming. It's about a woman and her brother, I think, from Puerto Rico, and just their experiences as immigrants in the United States. And they have like very successful public lives. But it says, set against the backdrop of New York City in the months surrounding the most devastating hurricane in Puerto Rico's history, Olga Dies Dreaming is a story that examines political corruption, familiar strife, and the very notion of the American dream. And I've heard again that this is really good, so adding that one to the pile. But all of these are books that I genuinely wanted to read and didn't get to, so except for so far the Paris Apartments. This one, Migrations by Charlotte McConaghy. It's about a woman who leaves everything behind and is really focused on her research, and she goes to Greenland with the purpose to follow the last Arctic terns in the world on what might be their final migration to Antarctica. So that looks a beautiful cover. And that sounds like it might be a little bit depressing, but it's the kind of thing that's kind of up my alley. The Break by Katherena Vermette. I don't know why I didn't get to this. Just had every intention of reading this, and like life got in the way or other books got on my radar. This is also an Indigenous author. It's about Stella, a young Métis mother who I think it's about it says there's a shifting narratives, people who are connected with the violence, police, family, and friends tell their personal stories leading up to a fateful night when there was a possible crime. But I think it's also about the Indigenous experience. I still don't really know that much about it, but definitely want to read it. Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. I read Convenience Store Woman and really, really liked it. I've heard this one is really weird, but I still want to read it. A lot of people like it, so looking forward to reading it. I don't know very much about it. It's about childhood dreams and adult rebellion. It's about Natsuki, a young girl who feels like she's been dropped into her family from an alien planet, and she's best friends with a toy plush hedgehog. And anyway, we'll see. And then Libertie, I think this might also be a carryover from 2021. I still really want to read it. I think it's about the experience of a young woman who is a freeborn Black girl in Reconstruction era Brooklyn, Libertie Sampson. So I think this is just going to be a really good read as well. I had heard good things about it when it came out. It says the unforgettable story of one young Black girl's attempt to find a place where she can be fully and only herself. Sorry about the light going in and out. It's super aggravating to me right now. I don't know if I should move. Maybe I should move. I'm not going to move. Daisy Jones and the Six. I had pulled this one for one of the readathons, I think the Desertathon, I can't remember now. I've read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but that's the only Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I've read so far. So I thought I'd go back to the beginning and read Daisy Jones and the Six. I don't think I need to say too much about this. I think most people know about this one, but it's about the story of a band and a groupie in a band and a journalist writing about a band and the drama that goes along with that. Golden Hill by Frances Sufford. This is a book that I picked up when I was in the UK. My cousin had recommended it to me. It's set in 1746 about a small town on the tip of Manhattan Island, New York. And it's about an immigrant, I think, who lands there, a young person off the boat from England, and about the way that they make their fortune. It sounds really, really good. Memorial, which I really wanted to get to, by Bryan Washington. This I think I had on my TBR pretty recently. Again, it might have been for the Desertathon. This is a story about a couple in an interracial gay relationship, just about the dynamics they're in. It's supposed to be really, really good, and I do really want to read it. It says Benson and Mike live together in Houston. Mike is a Japanese-American chef at a Mexican restaurant, and Benson's a Black daycare teacher. And they've been together for a few years, and their relationship is going through some transitions. Rabbits by Terry Miles. Can't believe I didn't get to this one. I really wanted to read this. I've been hearing people talking about it. It's a mysterious alternate reality game, so vast it uses the entire world as its canvas. It's a sci-fi. I just feel like it would be fun to read and weird. So hopefully I'll pull that one this year. Hurricane Season. I picked this one in October by Fernanda Melchor. I mean, I haven't read it. I wished I'd gotten to it again. She's a Mexican writer. It's about a witch There's so many books that I didn't get to this year that I really wanted to read. These aren't even all of them, I feel like. Maybe they are. I know I talked about a lot of books and book hauls that I want to get to too. It's okay. We have a lifetime to read all these books, right? Hopefully people won't write too many more too quickly. It's a story about a group of children playing near an irrigation canal. They discovered a decomposing corpse. There are rumors about how and why this murder occurred, and there's witchery involved. Let's go wrap some books. All right, so here are the last few books. Well, actually, I'm not going to wrap these ones because I don't know yet. I haven't quite finished for December, so I'm not going to include anything from my TBR from December. That should narrow down my wrapping. Here are the two classics that I didn't get to this year that were on my TBRs. The first is James Baldwin's Giovanni's Room. Like, I really, really want to read this. I almost feel like I shouldn't wrap it up and I should just read it. Maybe I'm not going to wrap this one up and I'm just going to read it. Yeah, I think that's the case. I really want to read it. I think I'm going to put it on my TBR in January. And then Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf I didn't get to, which I really wish I had as well. So I'll wrap that one up. Nonfiction books that I just haven't been able to get to that I really want to read. Way back in January of 2022, I was reading Unorthodox. It was a carryover from 2021. It's a memoir by Deborah Feldman about being a member of a very Orthodox Hasidic Jewish community and leaving that community, and just about her experience. I started it. It's definitely not a DNF. I only ended up at chapter 2, and I would really like to read that. Truman Capote's In Cold Blood, which I have not yet gotten to. Definitely going to wrap that one up. Hidden Valley Road, which I talked about back in October. The subtitle is Inside the Mind of an American Family. This is a family of schizophrenics. It just sounds weird and creepy and interesting, but it's quite a dense book, and I think it would take me a long time to get through it, as sometimes these nonfiction books are quite dense. But I will wrap it and maybe get the audiobook if I do pull it. And then the last nonfiction is Stolen: 5 Free Boys Kidnapped into Slavery and Their Astonishing Odyssey Home. This was a gift from my daughter for last Christmas, and I didn't get to it in 2022, and I really regret it because I really want to read it. I'm sure it's fascinating and inspiring. Set in Philadelphia, 1825, 5 free black boys fall into the clutches of the most fearsome gang of kidnappers and slavers in the United States. A gripping true story about 5 boys kidnapped in the North and smuggled into slavery in the Deep South, and their daring attempt to escape and bring their captors to justice. I mean, it sounds amazing. So yeah, let's wrap those last few up. So that's all the books. Trying to figure out how to get all the books and myself in the shot. And Nola's here too, but you can't see him. I have to move the books over so you can see him. Hi, Nola! So that's all the books, and I'm going to sign off. I hope you had fun wrapping books with me. And yeah, I guess you'll have to stay tuned for other videos to see which of these I end up pulling over the course of the year. I don't know if this is a good idea, bad idea. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And I am starting to think about my goals for 2023. I'll see you in the next one. This is like a great way to use up old wrapping paper that has like little rips and nicks in it. Anyway, just a little tip. Just a little conservation tip. Just a little way to reuse, you know, do a little bit for the planet. Oh, run from the room. That's a lot of books. Take my thumbnail. Take the thumbnail now. Fine, if you want to get into the paper and stuff. I don't have to listen to this when I edit it. I'm yelling at you. And I have to put like Christmas music over it, mute everything. People are going to see my lips moving and they're not going to know who I'm talking to.